problem. What's up? Good afternoon, everyone. Are you ready? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I am making a statement this afternoon to update the country on the state of investigations into the chaos witnessed in parts of the country on the June 25th and July 27th of the July 7th, sorry, on the June 25th and July 7th this year. On 25th of June 2025 and July 7th of 2025, criminals in different parts of the country visited raw and unprecedented terror on innocent citizens, causing distress, disruption, mayhem, and untold destruction. On these 2 days, marauding gangs of looters and bare-faced anarchists broke into private business in multiple parts of the country, thrusting many individuals and families into poverty. Years of hard work and sacrifice were lost in an instant, leaving hard-working Kenyans staring at losses and financial ruin. In this chaos, 42 Kenyans regrettably lost their lives and close to 600 were injured. Out of these injuries, 496 were law enforcement officers. This is unacceptable. One life lost is one too many. We mourn every life lost and extend our deepest sympathies and heartfelt condolences to the affected families. To those who suffered injuries, loss, and trauma on those 2 fateful days of sheer terror, we say poleni sana. Public facilities also bore the brunt of the destruction. The anarchists targeted police stations, government offices, vehicles, and a hospital. This disturbing trend of targeting police stations, stealing firearms and ammunition points to a coordinated attempt to subvert the state's ability to guarantee law, order, and public safety. When a police post or a station is raided or razed, it leaves the public at the mercy of dangerous criminals. It's our solemn duty as a government to ensure that citizens are safe and secure. Every Kenyan deserves the right to protection, and no one should ever attempt to usurp that duty. The violence and destruction witnessed across the country in recent weeks, however, were on a scale that has never been witnessed before. It is incumbent upon us, therefore, to nip it in the bud with the full force of the law. This is what our people expect of the government, and this is what government will and must do. Kenyans watched in disbelief as the brazen attacks on our security installations unfolded on social media and on live television. At Dagoretti Police Post, for example, the criminals stole guns and razed residential buildings housing officers and their families. In Kikuyu, a mob attacked government offices, torching Kikuyu Police Station, the sub-county headquarters, National Registration Office, county government offices, the Assistant Chief's Office, the Kenya Forest Service Office, Kikuyu Law Courts, as well as Dagoretti Police Post and police lines. They also partially destroyed the Kikuyu Sub-County Probation Office and damaged 4 motor vehicles belonging to Dagoretti Police Post, including that of the officer in charge. 9 suspects have been arrested to answer to the attack on the Dagoretti Police Post, while others are still being sought. Other property destroyed in the Dagoretti Police Post yard included 3 Probox vehicles, 1 double-cabin county government vehicle, a school bus, and 14-seater matatu that was parked in the compound. 5 guns were also stolen in Dagoretti Police Post, and another 4 firearms were burnt in Gashui Police Post. One of the guns stolen in Dagoretti on 25th of June was used to commit robbery in Naivasha the following day. On June 25th, a rowdy group of youth attacked Matu Police Station, leaving 8 officers injured and several government vehicles damaged. That is in Machakos County. The building housing the station was also destroyed. 18 suspects have been charged in connection with this attack. In Machakos County, 66 suspects linked to torching of gas tanker along Kitui Road on 7th July have also been arrested and charged. In another shocking attack, arsonists invaded and burned Olkalau Police Station, killing 3 suspects who were in custody. They also torched 26 vehicles, 18 county government motorbikes, burnt down an exhibit store, and destroyed the report office. In Nakuru County, Viwandani patrol base in Naivasha was burnt, while the firearm loaded with 20 rounds of ammunition was snatched by criminals in Shauri Moyo. Several other security installations across the country were attacked, leaving citizens exposed, and a total of 16 police stations and police posts were burnt or destroyed on the 2 days of terror. The destruction of private property. In 2 days of the chaos, many Kenyans suffered huge losses following the destruction of their businesses in various parts of the country. In Naivasha, Nakuru County, goons looted stock from Naivas, Power Star, and Ketia supermarkets, and thereafter set ablaze Power Star supermarket. A total of 100 people have been arrested in Nakuru County and charged with various crimes in relation to these acts of criminality. In Ruiru, within Kiambu County, a similar fate befell Quickmart and Carrefour supermarkets, where goons stole property worth millions of shillings after breaking windows and destroying CCTV cameras in the establishment. A total of 86 arrests were made over the crimes committed in the county in the 2 days, and various charges have been preferred. Naivas supermarket within Nyeri town was also broken into and goods worth millions of shillings carted away. 21 suspects have been arrested in connection with this criminal activity. On the same day, a group of rioters invaded Mountain Mall within Kasarani area in Nairobi County, where they looted goods from Naivas supermarket and other shops within the mall. 3 suspects were arrested and arraigned accordingly. At Kidurai 44 area, another set of criminals invaded Kasmat supermarket. In Eldoret, goons broke into Ketia supermarket and stole goods worth millions of shillings, and 12 suspects were arrested and arraigned. In Meru, a group of thugs set ablaze Muguna's supermarket using suspected petrol bomb. Years of investment went up in flames. The criminal element stole alcoholic drinks also from the 7-Eleven bar. Selenite supermarket was not spared in the looting and the mayhem. 40 suspects have been arrested in Meru in relation to these criminal acts. In Kirinyaga County, 21 suspects linked to the looting of Nice City supermarket in Mwea town were arraigned. Gangs also torched the Kirinyaga Central NGCDF offices, leading to the arrest and arraignment of 4 suspects. In Kagumo town, mobs broke into county supermarket and stole goods worth millions of shillings. 2 suspects have been arrested and arraigned in connection with the incident, and others are still being pursued. In other reprehensible incident, marauding gangs stopped operating theater at the Kitengela Sub-County Hospital, interrupting an emergency cesarean section and terrorizing patients and medical staff. 2 suspects have been arrested and arraigned in court for this heinous crime. The 2 were granted bail of 50,000 shillings, surely 50,000 shillings only, after invading an hospital and interrupting a cesarean operation. Only 50,000 shillings were granted as cash bail. These lenient bail terms are unacceptable. It is in hospitals that we seek refuge at our most vulnerable moments, and to infringe on this privacy is an offense most foul. Arising out of these unprecedented attacks, close to 1,500 people have been arrested countrywide and are facing various charges, including terrorism, murder, robbery with violence, sexual assault, arson, malicious damage to property, and targeted attacks on strategic national infrastructure. Of these, 50 individuals are currently under investigation by various crimes investigation units, while 71 cases are being handled by the Anti-Terrorism Police Unit for offenses related to acts of terrorism. We commend our security agencies for foiling further destruction and wish a quick recovery to the officers injured during this unprecedented violence. The operation was made possible through timely intelligence, which revealed plans to target critical infrastructure, including transport systems. Intelligence-led operations across various counties have resulted in the arrest of individuals believed to be masterminds and financiers, plus the instigators and the direct perpetrators of these criminal acts, including those responsible for incitement to violence and politically motivated mobilization intended to stoke public unrest. Those who incited, organized, funded, or executed these attacks will face the full force of the law. The financiers and political sponsors of this mayhem are being investigated and will soon answer for their crimes. Similarly, any police officer accused of unlawful use of force will face the law. As I speak, 1 police officer has already been arraigned and is facing murder charges. Further, any excesses by law enforcement officers will be investigated and appropriate action taken on those found to be culpable. Cognizant of the raging debate and national concerns on the use by security personnel, I will this Friday, pursuant to Article 245(4) of the Constitution, be issuing a policy directive to the Inspector General of Police on the use of force and firearm by law enforcement officers. What was witnessed on 25th of June and 7th July was stark testament to the extent to which the sponsors of this anarchy are ready to go to subvert the Constitution. This was not protest. It was pure premeditated criminality, deliberate, dangerous, and deeply disturbing. The right to assemble, demonstrate, picket, march unarmed, and present petitions to authorities is guaranteed by our Constitution, and that cannot ever be taken away. Invasion of hospitals, rape, attack on ambulances, looting of businesses, forceful entry of protected areas, vandalism, erection of illegal roadblocks, and torching of government installations, including police stations and administrative offices, are vile crimes and must be treated as such. We cannot, as government and as a nation, normalize the senseless loss of lives and livelihood and the threat to peace and stability. I once again urge all citizens to reject and denounce violence. I ask all Kenyans to channel their grievances through legitimate and constitutional means and deny criminals the chance to destabilize our great country. To the financiers, organizers, executors, take note. This reign of terror against the people of Kenya and the impunity of criminal gangs must come to an end at whatever cost. Asante sana, and God bless Kenya. Thank you very much. I assume there's no questions. My statement is very clear, and I do not intend to take questions today. Yeah? Asante sana. God bless you. Do you must ask a question? Okay, I'll take only 3 then. And must include one lady.
Thank you so much, CS. Even as you talk about policy on the use of firearms, there has been concern about the operation security officers use during riots and demonstrations. For instance, there has been incidences where civilian officers and civilians use very heavy firearms, and some of them are wounded, and some of them are also using civilian registration number plates for vehicles, the so-called Subarus. Is this particular policy also going to inform or address these concerns? Because in some instances, and especially from the human rights group, they are labeling this squad as a killer squad. And this also has been voiced and reiterated by the opposition, led by the former deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, who says there is 101 units.
One more gentleman.
Both the protests 25th and 7th. Also on Sabasaba, there was minimal entrance of protesters to the city. Yet ironically it's the day that the numbers were the highest. So people, the killings were recorded in residential areas that it happened. Are we seeing a trend of protests moving away from town and other counties, and what are we going to counter such in the future? Also, Julia Kariuki was one of the protesters in Miami. So she went to police custody. The next day she was arraigned. She went back to the cell. In the morning she was dead. Of course, the police, they released a statement that was clear on that. So we'd love to know if you've done investigations to find out what happened to her and what led to her death. Thank you.
Last one. The gentleman at the end.
There were reports that foreigners were involved in the chaos. Can you confirm if that is the case?
Thank you. Let me say this. First, on the security officers, Seth Olale's question on security officers, how they were dressed, the vehicles they were using, and whether there is a specific team that is meant to kill people. First, let me say this, that a police officer, whether is wearing a uniform or not, is a police officer. and that police officer is bound by the law. There's no rules that excuse a police officer that if you are not in uniform, you can commit crimes or you can kill people. The same law that upholds killing of citizens by a police officer in uniform is the same law that also upholds the same from a police officer who is not in uniform. There are clearly indicated situations where a police officer may not be required to be in uniform. And sometimes when they're doing investigations. And some investigation officers are always embedded in these situations to make sure that they collect evidence immediately that will help in apprehending criminals. Police officers also, whether they're using a Subaru or walking on foot or using a lorry, are expected also to abide by the law. And that's why we say that any claims that there is a police officer who is killing people, whether he's in civilian or not, must be investigated, and we must ensure that those who have been affected by their actions are brought to justice. So there is no excuse. The dress code of a police officer is not an excuse. In fact, a police officer who sleeps in his house and there is an emergency and he needs to rescue a citizen does not need to wear a uniform. Just wake up and go and rescue, and then do what you need to do as a police officer. Then the rest is, the uniform is just for identification, when you need identification. So the point here I want to make here is that all cases of excesses reported will be investigated equally. Number two is to say that there is no non-police squad that is involved in killing people, at least not in this administration, and not that the cabinet secretary is aware of. It would be unconstitutional and illegal to establish a squad anywhere in Kenya to kill people. All the squads, all the police formations and units in the Republic are intended to protect people, not to kill people. Their responsibility is to protect the citizens of Kenya. On the question of numbers, the 42 are for the 2 days on the 25th of June and 7th of July. On the 25th, the numbers recorded, and official recorded by National Police Service is 17. On the 7th, it was 25. And a good question is, how come even after we have blocked the city, the access to the city, more people died? You see, the criminal activities were happening all over the country. And in that situation, banning of supermarkets, invasion of police stations. In fact, more police stations were invaded outside the city than in the city. And you are right to say that there seems to be a new epicenters outside the city for this kind of protest. By the way, I need to say that, and it's in the statement, that this is unprecedented. In the past, we have had, of course, maandamano across the country, but the ones that are targeting specifically police stations, this is the first time that you can really say police stations are being, specifically targeted, which is a very unique phenomenon, and we are concerned, and that's why some people are being charged for terror, because by the time you're going for police station, your intention is not to pass your message. It's not even your intention to loot. Your intention actually is to undermine the institutions of democracy and peace and security with an intention of raining terror to the people of Kenya, so that then you leave them exposed and you instill fear on the citizens that there is no constitutional government in place, and therefore citizens are on their own and they can, have to protect themselves or, from harm, or sometimes also attack other citizens. So at that point, that's why we take seriously the question of terrorism linked to these charges, which has been, it's a subject of debate. It's of course in court, but as a matter of fact, those who read the law should read the Anti-Terror Act and will realize that acts of terrorism include what we witnessed on 25th and the 7th of this July. The other thing that I needed to emphasize here in that regard is that the fact that nearly 1,500 people have been arraigned in various courts, And we must thank our courts because they have been cooperative in most of the instances to make sure that we get also relevant time for investigation and so forth. You will realize that this administration means business and the National Police Service means business when we told the public that people will be held into account. I look forward to successful prosecutions and convictions so that the people of Kenya can begin to separate the wheat from the chaff, and so that we can start knowing, separating those who are exercising Article 37 rights in the Constitution and those who are intended in violence. And then, hopefully, then going forward, after we weed out all these criminal acts and they get severe convictions and punishment, Kenyans will go back. You know, criminals will now leave citizens who want to exercise Article 37 of the Constitution to come to the streets, and the police will be escorting them as they do their protests peacefully. That is what we are looking forward to. And as I've said before, and I wish to emphasize, that my dream is to see a country where peaceful demonstrators in their thousands are walking in the streets, carrying their pamphlets and regalia and paraphernalia, and being escorted by police officers, marching through defined routes and within designed areas, and with time that has been allocated, and in the evening shake hands with the police officers, and everybody goes home without harming the citizens of this country. That is really what is promised by Article 37 of the Constitution, and we hope we can reach there as a nation. The last question was the investigation in Nyeri and other parts. For those who have been injured, as I've said, investigations are ongoing, and we have demonstrated in the recent past that where there is transgression, even in the part of ourselves or even our police officers, we do not take sides. We will make sure that independent investigation take place, and those who are found culpable are brought to justice. And on the presence of foreigners, at the moment we have not, we are yet to deal with that issue fully, but it is true. There is some information that some foreigners who are operating in the city, some of them are involved in various criminal activities, including muggings, including sometimes acts of hooliganism in this town. But the ones who are linked directly to the protest, we will have to look at those who have been charged. And specifically, you see, I have to consult the DCI, and I don't want to consult him here to see if he has arraigned some of those people. But it is true that there are some foreigners in our city who have been involved in the past in various criminal activities. And should we find them also involved in the looting and the destruction that has happened, we'll make sure that they are brought to justice. Asanteni sana. God bless you.